Hey again. Okay, so now we're gonna go over how to upload your products. So on the left, we're just gonna go over here to products. And then over here, we're gonna go to add products. So, I mean, this is pretty straightforward, but I know all of you guys are at a totally different level. So I'm just gonna explain everything and point out which pieces are the most important. So in this case, I'm going to start out with the image just so that we can start there. Let's see. Let's do, my computer wants to be nice and slow. All right, let's do these joggers here. So first you just are going to title, and just as a little tip, you can do a mixture of a cute and descriptive title, but no matter what, I recommend that some descriptive terms be in there. That's not only for SEO purposes, but also if you or someone else is trying to search on your site, or even internally, you go to all products and you're trying to find a product, you may not remember that you named something, cute in Miami or something. I don't know. That's a bad example, but just, you want to be a little bit more descriptive. I just go ahead and be fully descriptive rather than QC. So on these, I would do ampersand charcoal joggers. And if it's like a dress, you might do, plum off the shoulder maxi dress. I do actually use as many descriptive words in the title as I can. And then if you're able to still, do a little twist in there that makes it cute, then that's great as well. But at least have what it is in there. So joggers, tee, dress, top, at least use those main words, if nothing else. And then for the description, if you're not, obviously what I recommend here is a sassy little description, even 2 to 3 sentences. Well, sassy if that's your brand, or if your brand is different, Western, then have it be Western themed, but whatever. 2 to 3 sentences, just something fun, and then describe the fit, and then say what your model is wearing. That's what I would recommend in there. But if you're not ready for that, you want to do that later, at least cut and paste the name in there just to have something in there, because Facebook and Instagram have this weird thing where they just won't link up to products that don't have anything in the description box. So just put something in there. Okay, over here, we're going to do our pricing. So what are these ones? I want to say they're 44. So you can go ahead and put the compare at price now. If these are equal, then your website isn't going to show. Basically what this is for is the compare at price should be your regular full retail price. And then say you go to mark it down one day and you're going to do $40. It's going to show 44 slashed off and then 40 so they can see the difference. This is good for when you're doing sales especially. But if they're equal, it's not going to show the slash mark or anything else. But this saves you time later to go ahead and put this in now. But not a big deal, just something to know. Inventory, SKU, and barcode. If you are a storefront and you're going to be using Shopify POS and you're going to be using barcodes and things, then you want to, utilize these spots. But if not, or if you're not to that point yet, you can leave these blank for now. But inventory policy always change to does track inventory. Don't worry about this quantity. This will only matter if they're because right now you're going to have different sizes of these joggers, so it's not going to matter. But if it was like a necklace and there's not going to be any colors or length options, then you can just put the quantity here. Okay, so for weight, the only reason you would want to weigh your product is if you're going to be doing calculated shipping at checkout, or you're setting the shipping by weight. So if you are doing either of those, then you do want to weigh each item. And the thing is, if I just heard this tip, which was interesting, you want to weigh the largest item because obviously, you'd rather err on the side of caution. But what I actually normally suggest is once you go down here and create variants that I'm going to show you in just a second, you would want to weigh the small, weigh the medium, and weigh the large to really be accurate and not overcharge your customers for shipping either. But most people, most boutique owners use more of a flat rate shipping or a tiered, rate shipping based on order value. In that case, you don't need to put anything in the weight. You can just leave it blank. So this is probably the trickiest part, the variance, although it's not, super tricky. But so you're going to go ahead and add variant, and Shopify is going to guess that you're going to do size because that's the most common. But you can add 3 different options. So if you click add another, it's going to guess color is the next one. And if you do, add another. But so this could be size, color, neckline. Say that you're doing graphic tees, you have different sizes, different colors, and crew neck or V-neck, for example. So, but you can change these too. So whatever 3 options, or if you just want size, that's the most common, like I said. So then for option values, you're going to put your cursor in here and you're just going to do capital S, capital M, capital L. And you just want to make sure that on every single product you use capital S, capital M, capital L. It keeps it cleaner. So just always use the same format. And then I actually carry only items that come small to 3X. So I did all of these. Now then down here, you're going to see the separate variants. And then you can put in the inventory level. So if you get 2 of each, so go ahead and put in your inventory. Okay, now on the right here. So when you first go to add a product, by default, it's going to be available online immediately. Now, again, if we're still working on your site or you're still working on your site and you have your password page up, this is kind of irrelevant. But the point is, say that your website is up and going and you're adding a new product, but this is something that's going to be a new arrival to be released next week. You're not ready for it to be live yet. So you're going to want to hit manage and uncheck online store and then hit done, and then it won't be available until you tell it to be available. But the other option is online store, there's this little calendar. So you can actually pick a specific day and time, say that Mondays at 8, your new arrivals are live. So you can set it to be that day and time. So that's just something to note. And then for product type, this is internal, but I do recommend it. So for your product categories on your homepage, like in your menu, for example, I always recommend you be a little bit more broad than narrow unless you have a large product catalog. So for example, you wouldn't want to split up tops and tank tops unless you really had like 15 to 20 in each category. You would just want them all together under tops. But under product type here, I would do tops and maybe even like tunics, tank tops, blouse, graphic tee. I'm not saying to get so specific that you end up with 100 product types. You may even want to sit down and think about this for a minute and just really write out like 4 different top categories, 2 to 3 different bottom categories, 3 different dress categories, and always stick to those. The reason why, and if you're doing it like dresses with a lowercase d and dresses are different. So make sure that you use the same, which in this case, we're going to call these sweatpants. But again, this is internal, and the only reason to work on this, and it's nice if you have it right in the beginning, is later on, you can use an app called Delirious Profit, and it runs reports based on product type, which means that could help you with open to buy sort of things and figuring out what you're really selling the most of and what you need to buy more of and that kind of thing. So again, be a little bit more specific than your general categories, but still not so specific that you have like 100, So anyway, the other thing here is collections. And this one is super important because this one is actually what dictates like where it shows up on your homepage and website in general. Like if you don't pick any, then it actually won't really even show up on your website anywhere. Like unless your customer was to literally search. It's basically like a hidden product, which is good to know if you ever want that. But you want to put it in whatever category it fits in. And say that you had like a new arrivals category or something. Well, if it fits in that and bottoms, then you can put it in more than one category. You can put it in whichever categories, and I urge you to put it in whichever categories it fits in. All right, tags. Here's my recommendation until you are ready to use them. leave this blank. Absolutely leave this blank. This is another thing that's internal. And in the future, you may, like, on certain themes, there is a way to filter on your product pages by tag. So customers can be looking at bottoms and then filter by tag. But until and unless you're ready to set that up, it's best to leave these completely blank, because otherwise people end up with way too many tags. And then when they're ready to, they actually have an idea of, oh, I know what I want to use my tags for now. Well, now there's all these random tags that need to be cleaned up. And also tags are the same with dresses with the lowercase d versus with the capital. So it ends up, and then if there's dress, so see, for dress alone, you could have 4 tags accidentally. So I just recommend leaving it blank until you're sure of what you know you want to do with the tags. And then that way, when you're ready to use them, they'll be blank and ready to play with. So, all right, so then you're just going to hit save. And there's one other thing I want to show you on here, and that is to resize your images, because, and I have another video about this you may have seen, but just real quickly, see how these are all exactly the same width and height. It just looks nice and clean, versus if these were all different heights, trust me, it makes a huge difference, and it looks really, really messy. So, and this is especially important if, say that you're using stock photos, so your photos are already all over the place and don't match. If you add that and different heights, like, oh girl, you got a hot mess on your hands. So you really want these to be all the same width and height. So all you do is you hover over your photo and hit the edit image, the pencil. So you can either do a square or rectangle. I usually do recommend the rectangle, and although I used to use squares, so nothing wrong with that. And just to keep it consistent, I use 800 height, 600 width. So if you want to write that down, 800 height, 600 width. So if you just make it a habit when you add your product in to hit crop and ignore all these and go over here to custom. And in the width, you're going to put, let's see, what am I doing? 600. And then in the height, you're going to do 800. And again, my photos are already that, so this doesn't really help you all that much. But the other thing you want to do is, let's see, when you're doing this is click this little lock dimensions box, because then you can actually move these around and say where you want this to be. And no matter what you do, like, it's going to hold these dimensions. So it's still going to work for you. So say you wanted it like this time. So then you just hit apply and save. So you do this to all your photos as you're putting them in. All right. So this is how you add products. There's definitely other things I'm going to show you, but I'll do it video by video. All right. Thank you, and good luck entering these.